Welcome to Align Christ-Centered Yoga. My name is Linda and I'll be guiding our practice today. And my question for you today is this. When you have been down and out, how do you come back to a place of strength? The psalmist cries out to God. He says, "May the Lord give strength to his people. May the Lord bless his people with peace." When we have been physically or emotionally drained, it's hard to come back. I got back from vacation and I brought COVID home with me. So I was out for a week. I had bad cold symptoms. I had no energy. So I was just lying around a lot, sitting a lot. I just wasn't moving. Maybe that's been you. Maybe you've just been stuck at a desk overworking and you can't move the way that you're used to moving because you've been sitting all day. This practice will reintroduce movement. When I was sick, I was looking for practices online just to get me moving again, and I really couldn't find anything. Everything seemed to be so much too much for me. So I invite you to set aside your expectations, to simply find the breath, connect the breath with the body, and reintroduce movement. And my prayer is that this is that next step on your road to wellness. I've created a little bit of space so that I can twist and move on the floor. I have a block and I'm actually going to use a pillow as well. So if you don't have that space created yet, go ahead and pause the video and set up your space and then rejoin me. We're going to start on our backs today. So I invite you just to lie down on your back. And for a moment, just kind of shake the legs and windshield wiper the feet and shift the shoulders and turn your head. And then take one hand to your heart and one hand to your belly. And breathing in and out through the nose if you can, begin to find your breath. So if you've been sick, maybe you can't even take a very deep breath. That's okay. Where is your breath today? Can you breathe a little more slowly, a little more deeply? Find the best breath that you have. Begin to notice how the body moves with breath. Take 2 more breaths here. Take your hands down towards your hips and bring your feet about hip width apart and begin to flex your feet and point your toes. And just notice the effects of that. And maybe you can begin to move the body a little bit with that. So it's just as if you're pumping the brakes down in the car with both of your feet and then coming off the accelerator. So back and forth here and begin to pump a little faster. And maybe you can feel the body move up and down the mat with that. Maybe you can hear it as well. A couple more times. And relax. Take a deep breath. Gently bring one foot in, to the mat. Bend the knee as you slide that foot all the way up to the knee. So the foot is on the mat. And then let the knee come out to the side. Connect this with breath. Take a deep breath in as the knee rises. And exhale and release. Just take a breath. And again, just bring the foot up and the knee comes out. Knee rises and the foot slides back. Take a breath. One more time here. Just find the movement that works for you. Notice where you're a little tender or achy. And release. Notice the effects of that sequence on the body. Maybe that leg is settled differently than the other leg. Maybe one hip feels heavier, or the one shoulder blade is resting differently on the mat. So same thing on the other side. Foot comes to the blanket or the mat, slide it up to the inside of the knee. Exhale as that knee comes out to the side. Inhale and rise. Exhale and extend. Take a breath and check in. So twice more. Connect with your breath. Find your pace. Where do you feel sensation? Check in one final time, just noticing how the leg has settled compared to the other side. Again, noticing the weight of the hips, the shoulder blades, maybe even the distance from shoulder to ear on each side. Go ahead and bend your knees. And if you're comfortable with it, go ahead and find a pelvic tilt. Just draw the back into the mat. And then tilt the pelvis so that the hip points rise up towards the knees. And back and forth here. Just find something that feels good. Maybe there is a little bit of uncomfortableness associated with it. When I've been lying down for a while, my back gets really tight and stiff. Can you find a release that feels right for you? Maybe one more time here. Gently bring your knees into your chest, wrap your hands around your legs, and just slowly rock side to side, massaging out your back. And maybe you begin to start looking in the opposite direction of the knees. So add a little bit of a twist here to the body. Gently come to center, bring the knees over the hips, the shins parallel to the floor. Let the hands come out to the side and just gently bring the knees over to one side. And up and over to the other. Again, take your time here. No hurry. You're just massaging out the back, stretching out across the chest. Releasing through the neck as the gaze moves in the opposite direction of the legs. As you're ready, let the knees come all the way over to that first side and roll the rest of the body over as well. And begin to just move the shoulder back and forth. So that top shoulder is moving, that bottom hand is just sliding across, or the top hand is sliding across that bottom hand. And then as you're ready, just turn this into a twist. Bring that top arm over the hand and the forearm and the bicep and across. And up and over and reach. And 2 more times here. As you're ready, just find whatever twist feels comfortable for you. Settle in, let the shoulder blades settle into the mat. Maybe this top hand comes across the leg and reaches through the hips, brings that top knee a little closer to that bottom knee. Again, just explore it a little bit. Maybe the knee moves a little bit up or down, or a little more back and forth. Where is your twist? Settle here and find breath again. And take 2 more breaths here. As you're ready, gently come to center. Hands to knees. I invite you to bring your knees into the rib cage and then away from the body. So it's a little bit of a back massage here. Stay connected to your breath. Move slowly. And then as you're ready, hands out to the side. Go ahead and bring the knees over. Roll all the way over onto your side. Again, bring that top arm over the bottom arm. Shift a little if you need to create space. How does that upper back feel? And whenever you're ready, bring that into a twist. The hand just slides across the bottom hand and the forearm and the upper arm and all the way out and across. And up and over in that crocodile arm and reach. And come across again. And do that twice more. You're just going to inhale up and over. Exhale as you come across. And 1 more time. And then as you're ready, find your twist here. So again, let the shoulder blades settle to the mat. Let that dictate range of motion. And then maybe that arm comes across to the top of the legs. Notice that as you move your knee a little bit, that shifts sensation in the lower back. Find your twist and settle in. Take 2 more breaths here. As you're ready, draw the belly in, come back to center. Again, bring the knees in, rock side to side, and just notice how that feels now. And then as you're ready, just go ahead and roll all the way over and come onto your hands and your knees. So meet me in table. Wrists are underneath the shoulders, knees are underneath the hips. Notice how this feels. Begin gently to find that cat, tilting the hips, drawing the spine up to the sky, top of the head reaching to the mat. And then cow as the hip points tilt towards the mat. And the chest moves forward. Maybe you're stretching through the abdominals a little bit, looking forward. Back and forth here, cat to cow. And one more time here. And then choose cat or cow. Which one feels best for you in this moment? And stretch nice and long and bring the shoulder blades together and down a little bit towards the hips. And I invite you to round up into cat and come the rest of the way up into a kneeling mountain. Just reach those arms. Still got that residual COVID cough here. And exhale, bringing the hands forward and the hips back. And two more times here. Reaching up. Exhale into cat. Into child. One more time. I invite you to stay in child's pose for 3 breaths. And breathe fully into the back of the body and then soften the body with the exhale. As you're ready, rise into table and just gently bring shoulder to hip and then the other direction. And how does that feel up and down the sides of the body? Gently bring your hands forward. Find a kneeling plank and come down to the mat. And I invite you to come in and out of Sphinx a few times here. So bring those forearms a little bit wide. Spread the fingers wide. There's a bubble of air under the palm of the hand. Raise the chest up about a ½ inch off the mat. And then gently tuck the shoulder blades under as the chest rises and comes forward. And exhale down. And come in and out of this a few times. Still moving with your breath. And then release, and we're going to come into a supported Sphinx. So find a pillow or a blanket or a bolster and bring it underneath the rib cage. Go ahead and press into the forearms a little bit. And let the body relax into that blanket or that pillow. Maybe you engage the muscles of the legs a little bit more. Maybe it feels good to contract the quadriceps or press the feet down into the mat to press the forearms down. And find your breath here. How does each breath shift the pose? One more breath here. Go ahead and bring those hands back to the rib cage. Come back to table. I invite you to come from child to table twice. You can just leave that blanket there or pillow. And as you're ready, come forward again. So this time we're going to move the support a little bit forward so that it's underneath the chest and head. I invite you just to turn your cheek, stack your forearms and turn your cheek to one side, and then just slide your leg up one leg so that it is parallel to the edges of the mat. So the quadricep is parallel to the top edge of the blanket or the mat. The shin is parallel to the wide edge. Go ahead and start with the head turned towards that leg. Stay here for a few breaths. Get comfortable. And then consider turning the cheek in the opposite direction and see if that works for you. I invite you to take one more breath here. As you're ready, bring those hands back to the rib cage. Bring that leg behind you. Again, child to table 3 times. Sometimes breathing deeply is easy and sometimes it's not. And then as you're ready, come forward again. Same thing in the other side. Just got this half frog going as you stack your forearms and you bring that leg up. So again, 90 degrees here. The quadricep parallel to the front edge of the mat, the shin parallel to the wide edge of the mat. Start looking over in that direction. And if it works for your neck, maybe looking in the opposite direction. Stay here for 2 more breaths. What do you notice? And as you're ready, gently bring the hands back to the rib cage, bring the leg back behind you. I invite you to come to table. This time, maybe you take those hips all the way back and around in a circle. And one more time in this direction. And then as you're ready, go back in the other direction. And as you're ready, meet me back at center. I invite you to come back onto your back. And if you have a block, bring it to your hips. Knees bent. Stay here for a moment. Just notice how the body feels. And then pressing into your feet, find bridge. So pressing into the heels and the shoulder blades, tilt the hips and slowly come up one vertebra at a time. Bring those hip points towards the sky. And slowly exhale your way down. So 2 more times here. Follow your breath. Notice where you feel release. As you're ready, let the back settle into the mat again. Find a breath here. And then gently lift up just enough that you can slide that block underneath the back. So it is above the tailbone, it is below the spine, it is under the sacrum bone. So you should feel fully supported here. And begin to soften the body over that block. Soften the hips, the abdominals, the chest muscles. Maybe you can soften across the forehead, the cheeks, and the jaw. If the tongue is at the roof of the mouth, can you bring it to the bottom of your mouth? Stay here for 2 more breaths. Gently press into your feet. Lift up just enough that you can move that block out of the way. Let the back come down to the mat. Take a breath here. And I invite you to toe heel your feet out wide. Take your hands side to side and just gently let the knees drop down to one side and then the other. It's a lower body twist here. You can move that block out of the way. Coming back to center, go ahead and bring the feet in and the knees out. Again, just trying to find different ways of moving the body here that maybe you haven't done in a while. Just breathe into those hips as they open. Find length and warmth in the muscles of the inner thigh and groin. And take 2 more breaths here. As you're ready, bring your hands underneath the legs and gently bring the legs up. Draw the knees in and begin to draw a circle on the ceiling with those knees, just massaging out that lower back one final time. And gently go the other direction, a few circles this way. And then gently push the knees away and draw them back in. 2 more times here. Bring feet to the mat and extend the legs long. So windshield wiper your feet and bounce your knees. Wiggle your hips a little bit. Invite you to reach your hands up to the sky and let the shoulders thump down, and do that again. Hands down to your side, palms up, find Shavasana. And as we settle into Shavasana today, come back to the prayer of the psalmist. Give me strength, Lord. Another name for God is Jehovah Rapha, the God who heals. Invite God to heal you, body, mind, and soul. I invite you to stay here longer if you can. If you need to get moving, go ahead and wiggle fingers and toes. Rotate wrists and ankles, turning your head side to side. Taking a deep breath in, bring arms up and overhead, stretching as long as you can. And gently bend your knees and roll over onto your side, supporting your head with your arm or that pillow or the block. And as you're ready, press into your hands and slowly come up to sitting. This is the first time we've been sitting in this practice today. So I invite you just to check in. How do you feel? What's your energy level? How has the body responded to the practice? What's your mindset? What has changed since you came to the mat today? Taking a deep breath in, let arms rise up and overhead, palms together, and exhaling, bring hands to heart. Joining me in prayer. Father, we thank you for your healing. We thank you for the way that you created our bodies to heal themselves. We thank you for this call to movement, for the way that movement invigorates us, inspires others. So Jesus, we just invite you into each of our personal situations right now, asking for your healing so that we can go out and show the world the love that you have for them. It is in your name that we pray, Jesus. Amen. Thank you for practicing with me today.